you ready? I said, are you ready for Let's Talk Whoa Hockey? And now, here are our hosts, Beth and Zach.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to episode 35 of Let's Talk Whoa Hockey. Welcome to 2023. We last saw you last year, and now it is a whole brand new year. So we hope you all had a wonderful New Year's celebration. It was pretty great here. It's pretty low key. How are you doing today, Zach?
Doing good. Like you said, pretty much low key. Didn't really do anything last night. Just kind of hung out and just relaxed. You know, just a casual New Year's Eve. Yeah. Tara fell asleep at like 8, 9 o'clock. I stayed up until 11:30, just hanging out. You know, so nothing too crazy. What did you do anything for New Year's Eve, or was it just kind of low key at the house with the fur babies?
It was low key at the house with the fur babies. I ended up in like a dog cocoon last night, just after midnight.
That
because
sounds
of all the
terrible.
Fireworks. It was absolutely terrible. I feel really bad because at one point, like, I was just so confined because they were like squishing my legs together that I started to like have like a claustrophobic panic moment and like I had to force them to move. And then I got them both on one side of me instead of one on each side, and then I was fine.
Right.
But
you
like,
need that little bit of a room to get out. Like,
yeah. Like I felt super trapped. I was like under my weighted blanket with a dog on each side.
Oh gosh.
Like my legs were touching and could not separate. It was not fun.
Yeah, that sounds like early set. Like this is my life now. Like,
It was very, very unfun. I did not love it. I felt really bad, like as a dog mom, when I was like, "Oh my god, get off me!" and like made them both get down. And then Ella didn't really get down. She just kind of like stood up and was like, "But mom." And I was like, "No, but mom's like, no, I need you to move." And she came over to my right side, and then Gus was like staring at me like, "Mom, please help me." And I was like, "Come up here." And then he jumped on the other side of the bed. I was like, "No, sir, come here. Come here." And so he finally made it over, and then things were better. I mean, it was so bad last night, even Gary was freaking out. And when the cat is freaking out over fireworks, like
that's a little much.
It's a lot.
Yeah, Kelly did a pretty good job from what I noticed. Like, she was just passed out. So I mean, I think she passed out way before the fireworks started, so it wasn't too bad. But
at one point, I was starting to think that maybe Gus was losing some of his hearing, because when the fireworks first started, like normally that's when his freak out starts. And it didn't. And I was like, "Uh-oh, my boy."
No, my boy.
No, my boy. Can you hear me, my boy? And then the neighbors started setting off fireworks, and that's when he just lost it. And I mean, we were thunder shirts, calming treats, meds, the whole 9 yards. Still, I mean, it basically takes an edge off of their panic instead of it being like full shaky dog insanity. They just want to be touching me.
Yeah, I feel like New Year's is just like another 4th of July. It's just like a wintry 4th of July, and it's kind of like, I don't know. I'm kind of over it, to be honest. It's like maybe a couple fireworks is fine, but like as much prep people put into it, I'm like, it's not that necessary.
No,
it's just another year. Like,
yeah, okay. And I mean,
at this point, I'm kind of over it.
I'm just glad that they didn't go last year. They went till like 3 or 4 in the morning. Same the year before that. And this year, I think it stopped around like 12:31, because I actually fell asleep and did not wake up like every half hour after that to more fireworks.
Right.
So I think they actually stopped at a reasonable time this year, unlike years past where it's been like 3 in the morning.
Why?
So there's at least that. Why exactly? Why?
That's so like I understand that maybe the first half hour, because it's like it's a new year, but like if you're going past like 1 o'clock, it's like, dude, seriously.
I'm like, are you celebrating New Year's on the West Coast? Like, what's going on here?
Like we have people shooting off fireworks at like 9:30. I'm like, it's not even New Year's yet. Like,
why are we celebrating it like 9:39 on New Year's Eve? Like, calm down.
Like
calm down.
I mean, I knew like, you know, Newfoundland is like an hour ahead of us just because of how far stretched out it is. But it's like, come on now. Come on now. Like, because I know some people who are actually out there, like, they're like, yeah, we're about an hour ahead of you guys. I'm like, how's that even possible that you're like on the same continent, but you're still like an hour ahead of us just because of how stretched out Newfoundland is from everyone else.
It is out there. And I mean,
I do want to go though. I think
Newfoundland in the summer would be absolutely beautiful. Like, that's where I want to be in the summer. In the winter, no, thank you.
The only time I'd ever go out there for actually, you want to know, fall time in Newfoundland would be great though, because you know why? Growlers hockey. Gotta get some of that East Coast hockey out there.
I get that all the time.
Oh, true, but I mean, come on. I mean, honestly though, the jerseys are pretty sick. It'd be kind of cool to say you've been to Newfoundland. No, it's Newfoundland.
Okay,
I thought
so. Newfoundland. It's Newfoundland.
Yeah, but it would be kind of cool to go out there just to go say that you've been out there to watch our Growlers game in person and you're not from the area, because that's a trip.
See, again, that is also in the winter times in Newfoundland, which is not fun times for non-Newfies to experience, because
that's like
it's very easy to get. Fall in Newfoundland is like winter everywhere else for the most part.
Yeah.
Like they get feet of snow.
They do.
And I like looking at snow in pictures on my phone in Florida. That is how I like to experience snow most of the time.
Right. No, I get that. Honestly, there's a lot of barns we have to go do road trips for, because there's just so many good ones to go check out. So I mean,
there are.
There's a list. Sure. And we're also going to check it twice.
Yeah. Well, and I feel like we should maybe let the Wohawks in on our title. Kind of gave a little bit of it away, because obviously, like, new look, if you're watching this episode on our YouTube, which is at Let's Talk Wo Hockey, where you should be subscribed with the notifications on and liking videos and commenting and stuff like that. You'll see that we have a new background, and we have a new logo, and we have a new network.
It's very nice. It's
very nice. But also the episode mentions a new format. So
I mean, also, new hair for you too, though. So I mean, we can't forget the new look. So but over our little bit of a winter break, because we did take that 2 and some change weeks off, Zach and I were chit-chatting and talked about maybe making this a 2 per week kind of situation, and having a Blackhawks episode and a Wo Hockey episode. So that way, because we know not all of you love the Blackhawks like we love the Blackhawks. Like, come on, let's be honest. We know this. However, a lot of you came here for the Wo. So we're going to give you more Wo, and we're going to have a whole Wo Hockey episode a week. Yeah.
So
yes, we got the Woho sode and we got the Blackhawks sode. So I mean, why not, right? So
I mean, why not?
Why not?
Why not split it up a little, make it a little bit exciting? So new look, new home, new format. So today we are going to talk about the Blackhawks, which at least we got a Christmas present from the Blackhawks. We haven't gotten much more since then.
Not very much. I do have to say though, we have to do stick taps to Beth here, because of the fact that she made our new logo, and it's very clean. It's very simplistic, but it's nice. Mm-hmm. It's got this got the hockey sticks in the purple, which is the lavender, which you gotta go with the lavender. If you know, thank you, like Placid. Well, I mean, got the new PHF crowns, nice touch. They fit perfectly on the stick. You got the feathers, also fit perfectly, and just that simplistic Let's Talk Wo Hockey. It's just a great look. It's a very simplistic logo, but it speaks to how we are here at the podcast. So
the logo is a little less chaosy than we are, if we're going to be honest. But I feel like that is the only non-chaos thing. The podcast is the logo.
Yeah, I mean, if you want more chaos, we can just bring the demigoddess of chaos back on for another show and have see her for another 3 hours. So I mean, more chaos than chaos and chaos. So
I mean, just all the chaos in the world. And I mean, we're super excited to be on our new network, because for anyone, our 5GSN. So for anyone who does not know, at the end of the year, we did decide to leave Belly Up and come over, and we actually started our own sports network with our friends from the Surgecast and Mile High Pundit. So for the most part, this is going to be like a 99.9% hockey podcast network situation. We can't say 100% because the Mile High boys do talk things like football and all
basketball.
Those other sports.
Yeah, like there we don't know if there's gonna be any other sports podcasts on the network, but we can't definitely say that it's just 100% hockey all the time. But our slogan is where hockey reigns. Was it hockey reigns supreme? So it's gonna be a lot. It's gonna be a lot of hockey. Yeah. There might be a mix of some things, but it's generally going to be a hockey podcast network with a little sprinkle of some extra stuff.
And I mean, honestly, most of the other things are going to happen with Jared and Joel on Mile High podcast wise. We're really, you and I are hockey people. I mean, you are part of the 1/3 of the cast over at the Surgecast. You guys are also hockey people. Jared and Joel do like other sports, and they actually like watch them and stuff. So they talk about that on their podcast.
Just a bit too. Plus, being also a hockey writer too. So I mean, it's hockey, and more hockey. So I mean, it's just my life revolves around guys going on with blades on their bottom of their feet. So
knife shoes, last Oreo. I mean, that's kind of what we gravitate to, and that's fine. But if you want to check it.
Oh no. Seems like we lost Beth there for a hot second. So hopefully we get her back soon. There we go. I think she's coming back now.
Apparently StreamYard just decided that I'm not going to do this today. So
wow. You guys say, because it's just like, okay, well, we just lost Beth for a hot second.
I was just like sitting here literally doing nothing, and it was like, goodbye.
Well, so, there you go then.
It is what it is. But if you would like to follow our new network, which is just like us and our friends, like talking about majority hockey. Let's be honest, Zach, that for the majority of us, that's really all we talk about. You can head over to Twitter and Instagram. Where did my banner go? I just created it. StreamYard hates me today, guys. I am so sorry. It's like, no, ma'am, not today. So let me
I mean, heck, new StreamYard. We got to get the bells and whistles going. It's just because Surgecast is up their first episode today. We're going to drop ours tomorrow. And we're doing something really well. Once you listen and watch this, it's already happened. We got our super awesome live show.
Yeah. And I mean, if you haven't listened to it and watched it by the time you're listening to this episode on Monday, then you should head over to the 5GSN YouTube and check that out. We will post the links on our socials as well, so you'll see it there. But you can follow our network on Instagram and Twitter at 5AndAGameSN. And it's the number 5 if you're listening and not watching. So at the number 5 ANDAGAMESN. So we're super excited for this. Like, we just love hockey, and we want to just focus on hockey and more hockey and more hockey and have fun while we do it. So we decided to do this with our friends.
Yeah, great group. Plus, we added a couple extra people on as well, to do some social stuff as well, Instagram, TikTok, and all that good stuff. And one of them is also a podcast host. So yeah, we did a lot of new things. We were kind of glad for that winter break, so we can nail some things down, because it was a mad scramble for the last couple weeks of December.
It was a mad scramble. I mean, things progressed a little bit faster than any of us would have wanted it to on the moving of the podcast side of things. But, we do what we do, and we course corrected and got it all figured out. And
it worked.
Got everything transferred over to our new podcasting service and didn't lose any of you guys. So I mean, we got it all figured out, and now we have to talk about the Blackhawks. But before we get to the sad, we have to make sure to tell the people to follow us too.
Yes, of course.
So make sure you are following us on Twitter and Instagram at TalkWoHockeyPod. On YouTube, it is at Let's Talk Wo Hockey. We have our own like YouTube @ now, and make sure you're subscribed and like liking and commenting and doing all that fun stuff. Because I mean, if you're not watching this on YouTube, then you don't get to see all the really cool things that are happening with the background and the logo, because like you're not watching. So
like how rude.
Come on now. So on to the Hawks.
Oh boy, where do we start?
Well, let's start with the sadness that was the end of December.
You mean after the last time we recorded, which was like 2 weeks ago?
We recorded last on the 18th of December. There was a Hawks game that night. It wasn't great because the Hawks lost to the Rangers 7-1.
Yeah. That was great. That was just
it was a really most of the games for the last 2 weeks honestly have been very frustrating games.
Yeah, it wasn't like the fun, they lost, but it was competitive. This was more of like,
what's happening right now?
It's like I need alcohol, please.
Yes. And then the Hawks played again on the 21st of December at home, where they lost to Nashville 4-2.
I hate Nashville.
Same. I hate them so much. I hate that Kevin Lonkinen plays there. I hate it so much.
I'm not here for it. Those ugly jerseys. I don't care if it wasn't the yellow ones. There's just the jerseys in general are just ugly. I just
yeah.
Nope.
And then
nope.
We did get a Christmas miracle.
We did. Thankfully, we got something.
The Blackhawks won a game. And they did so in pretty decisive fashion. They beat the Columbus Blue Jackets 5-2. And then went on Christmas break. So they were like, here you go, Blackhawks fans. Have a win. Bye.
I mean, it's honestly, though, like, I'm glad they won in a decisive fashion. But if you look at where they are in the standings, it was basically suck against suck. It's just who sucked more.
You're not wrong. And it was suck against suck, but we sucked less that night.
I mean, yeah.
And I think one of the best takeaways I had from that game in particular was Alex Stalock being like a sixth actual player on the ice, like not just a goaltender. He was like the third defenseman on the ice.
Can we just have Alex Stalock play all of our games as a goalie from now on? Because it seems like it's the one that works right now.
I mean, I would not disagree with that because I love Alex Stalock. However, like I don't know what mode he switched on the 23rd, but he was like, you know what? I'm not just going to hang out in the net tonight. I'm going to go like pass pucks and be a defenseman and do my Alex Stalock things and just be the chaos that we all love.
I mean, we're here for. I mean, we love our goalies, and we love our goalies, and we thrive in chaos. I mean, he's basically built perfectly for this Blackhawks team and this podcast.
He is, and we absolutely love him. Like, I mean, honestly, if we could have him for a couple of years to get through the pain, at least we would have Alex Stalock.
Yeah, but I love Arvid Soderblom, but maybe we should like let him just develop with the Ice Hawks for a couple seasons. Give him like 2 more seasons in the AHL. Let him just know what winning is like for the most part, and then bring him up after the suck is over. Because I would really hate to waste his years on a bad Blackhawks team and bring him up when it's time.
And I know that Courtney 100% supports the Sody in Rockford scenario. I want him to develop into an amazing goaltender. Like, I want him to play in front of players that like aren't also developing. Because let's be honest, half of the Hawks team this year, it's players developing in the NHL where they should probably be developing in the AHL.
Yeah, exactly. It's one of those things where it's like this is a perfect time to like, you know what, maybe let's just let him develop for a good couple of years, and then we'll like circle back to this, and not be like, let's just play him now and see what happens. No.
If we could keep
no.
a healthy goalie, like if we could keep Mrazek and Stalock healthy at the same time for an extended period of time, then Sodi will play in Rockford.
I honestly, though, I think they might stick with Stalock. I wouldn't be surprised if the Hawks went with someone else outside of Mrazek next season. I don't see him staying very long. It might be hey, Alex Stalock is playing really great. Let's keep him. And let's go find another goalie who might be half decent for us. So, I mean, who? I'm not sure, but I don't see Mazarek staying very long with the Hawks, unless the Hawks are like, why not? Let's just keep them both. Why not? Let's see how this works out.
Embrace this and just keep them both. I mean, that wouldn't surprise me at all.
I feel honestly though, outside of our goalies, I feel for Isaac Phillips. Just like let the kid play in Rockford. Why are we bringing him up to healthy scratch him? Like, what are we doing here?
Thank you. Like,
it's just like, why are we playing all these young guys on a bad Hawks team right now? It makes no sense.
Well, not only that, Courtney and I were talking about this during the game the other day. Isaac Phillips should not be paired with Connor Murphy.
No, because Connor Murphy is not a guy who could help young guys get better. And his style does not match with young guys.
Isaac works really well with like a puck moving defenseman.
Connor Murphy is not that.
That is not Connor Murphy. Connor Murphy is a shot blocking, puck eating kind of defenseman who just kind of like lays in front of the puck a lot, which means that his D partner has to bail him out a lot because he's always on the ice. And
you know who would be perfect if there was like that type of defenseman who blocks pucks, but actually knows to play a little bit of an offensive side. You know, would be perfect to be pairing up with Isaac Phillips right now.
Jacob Chikrin.
Well, that would be great, but I'm thinking of a guy who could actually, who wish stayed longer as a Hawk, which would mean we would never have gotten Connor Murphy and actually would still be wearing number 4 for the Hawks.
You mean
instead.
Nicholas Hjalmarsson?
If we still had Nicholas freaking Hjalmarsson, I would love him with Isaac Phillips. Imagine Hammer with him right now.
Well, and like, honestly, pairing wise, I think Isaac Phillips would do better with like a Caleb Jones.
Oh no, I mean I agree with that, but I'm
because
saying, if it was like a guy like Murphy, if we had a guy like Murphy, but better like Hammer,
Nicholas Hjalmarsson,
then I'd be okay with having that type of defenseman with Isaac Phillips rather than who we have currently with him right now. Like I said, I like Murph, but if we're having a guy paired with him who plays that style, how about the guy we traded for him with like the thing is, Hjalmarsson he signed a contract to play back in Sweden. Yeah. So he can still play hockey.
Yeah.
I just wish it was with the Blackhawks still, because
look, you are not the only person who wishes that Hammer never left, but at the same point in time, like, so many things happened because of that I can't really be mad about it. So
no, I'm not mad about it, but I think a Caleb Jones would be better, or I don't know. There's like the way the defense is right now. It's like you can't put him with Seth. It's just that I really don't know outside of Caleb Jones who you would even pair him with. I mean, Jack Johnson, maybe.
I would say maybe Jack Johnson would be a good one, just because there was an article in The Athletic the other day talking about like Jack Johnson using this opportunity playing with the Blackhawks because, like, yes, he just won a cup last year with the Avs. Mm-hmm.
Right.
And obviously, yes, he wants to win more cups, but also the management really wanted to bring him in because of his attitude and because he is such a positive person in the locker room. He's part of the reason the morale of the Hawks is what it is right now, because he's not letting people sit back on their laurels and just like sulk and pout and be miserable about what's happening. Like, everybody knew coming into this season what was going to be happening. Like, if you didn't know that this is what this season was going to look like, then
where have you been? Like, yeah, because I mean, like we knew this team was going to be bad. We just didn't think it would be a drop off like this. Where I think as of right now, I think they're like outside of today's game I think it's like later tonight. I think they've lost either 18 of the last 20 or 19 of the last 21. So like,
it's not great.
No. So, I mean, that's why that 23 is there, because they've done a lot of it recently. So, I mean, you kind of knew it was going to be bad, but it's just like right now, I'm like, I like the fact we got Jack Johnson on the team. I think he would probably be the best fit for an Isaac Phillips right now. I like Caleb Jones, but if we're talking about someone who can build Isaac Phillips up, I think Jack Johnson would be your guy, because he's got that veteran presence. He's won. He knows what it takes. And like you said, his attitude is perfect. His type of attitude would be perfect to have him glued to Isaac Phillips and have those guys work together, room together, do something together
the
for most of the season.
Like, I get that. However, Isaac doesn't necessarily need to be glued. He's really strong on the blue line. Like, he's great back on the back end. He does when he needs to come over for his D partner, because he's not usually the net front presence kind of defenseman. He's kind of like the roving, traveling guy. He's great on the blue line. He's great at kind of traveling around in the defensive zone, reading plays, etc. He needs someone who is going to be that net front presence, who isn't going to just lay down and block shots like Connor Murphy.
Oh no,
he needs somebody who is going to stay on their feet, and maybe take a shot off of the chest or the shoulder, or get the rebound from the tendy and move it up to Isaac so that he can get it out to the forwards, so that they can like do this zone entry thing that I've heard is pretty cool in hockey, where like you don't just dump the puck at the red line into your offensive zone, like you actually carry it into the zone and like attempt to score goals and stuff. Like, I've heard it's pretty cool.
What I meant by like staying glued with him, I don't mean like on the ice stay glued with him. I meant like off ice, room together, travel, stuff like that. Like,
I kind of feel like that's what they're having Jack Johnson do this season.
Right.
That's like, he is just Papa defenseman, and I love that so much. Like,
I did too. Like, it's great. It's still weird to see him in number 8, because you think of Dominic Kubalik, but I'm getting kind of used to it now. But the way I meant like stay glued with him, I meant like off ice stuff, not actually on the ice, but like off ice. Have Phillips with Jack Johnson, because that'd be a great presence to have.
On road trips, I feel like they need to just get like a Blackhawks defenseman suite. And just like except all of the Jones. Baby defensemen like come in like to the suite with like Jack Johnson,
and just hang out together,
and like have story time, and like,
oh my god,
like,
some professional hockey players. Beth, what are we doing?
We're letting Papa Jack Johnson raise our baby defenseman.
Papa JJ.
He's gonna raise our baby defenseman.
There you go. We got a nickname for Jack Johnson, Papa JJ.
Papa JJ. So after our Christmas miracle of a win, the Blackhawks did the most consistent thing they've done all season, and they lost yet again 3-0 to the Carolina Hurricanes.
I sense a theme here.
But I mean, here's the thing. They lost the last time to the Canes 3-0, and then this time we also lost to the Canes 3-0. So consistency is key, and I got a lot of a lot of our friends asking us, so Zach, how are you doing tonight for that game? I hope both teams have fun. I just hope everybody has fun.
I hope everyone has fun, and because it's like the 2 times a year where I hate where both my teams have to play each other, because it's like great. Well,
and it's one of those things, because I mean, we're in a group chat with a bunch of, most of the people in there are Canes fans. And our friend Jules, who's absolutely awesome, she's actually with us here at 5GSN. She's working on something for this podcast. We should have it hopefully next week.
She does a really great job. She's also our Instagram social media person, does a fantastic job. She's also our videographer. Really great content. Honestly, like that New Year, like the Happy New Year's post we dropped today on 5GSN. She made that.
She's amazing. Job. But for the Canes Hawks game, she was talking about like, who else should I talk nice about so that they can score a goal? And I was like, Athanasiou, talk nice about Athanasiou. And she was like, I don't know who that is. And I was like, how do you not know who Andreas Athanasiou is? Like,
to be fair, we did it a lot. We did it on a lot in the last episode of Searchcast. So you're gonna hear a lot of those. Which, by the way, Kat has not seen Leonard Kenny at all, but she says that all the time. I'm like, ma'am. Season 11 just dropped recently, which I need to get.
There are only 6 episodes. It takes like 2 hours and some change to watch a whole season. Like,
I forgot it's that short. Like that's how I think Larry King does it perfectly. They're not super long seasons. Yes. They're bingeable. They are bingeable shows,
and it's easy to go back and start at the very beginning and binge it all because you can do it in like 2 days.
Exactly. If you have enough time to do it. Yeah. Or because, also Shoresy season 2 is coming out soon too, which it's going to be fantastic.
I'm so excited.
I know. I'm so excited for that, but it was, crap, I lost my train of thought. What were we just talking about with the Hawks?
I was talking about how Jules didn't know who Andreas Athanasiou was.
Oh, to be fair with that, I think she mostly knows the Hurricanes and maybe a couple other teams. I don't think she's like us nerdy. Like, we know a lot of players because we watch the league.
But it's Andreas Athanasiou, and he's AA. And we're happy to see you, Athanasiou.
And also the Hawks run on AA batteries.
They do. But I really wanted Athanasiou to score. And he did not because we got shut out 3-0.
No, he did, but he did score recently though, which I know we'll get to. So I know we'll get to soon, but he did score recently. So we, instead of running on Duncan, we ran on AA batteries.
We did. And then 2 days later, we played the Blues, and I'm sure all of you can guess how that went. We lost 3-1.
Another team I hate the most.
Yes, I mean we don't love them, but we lost 3-1 to the Blues. And it is what it is.
At least it wasn't the Rangers score again.
It's true. And then in all of their beautiful New Year's Eve glory, Andreas Athanasiou finally answered my call for a goal yesterday, New Year's Eve, which would be 2 days ago if we were listening to this after it's dropped, obviously. And he did score the opening goal when we played the Blue Jackets on New Year's Eve. It was also the only Blackhawks goal.
Yeah.
They lost 4-1 to the Blue Jackets. I mean, in all fairness, Korpisalo looked really good.
I feel, honestly, I feel bad for Merzlikins though, because Elvis is he deserves so much better than what he's been dealing with. It's not his fault.
Isn't he hurt?
He's also hurt, yes, but he's also had a rough season, and you really can't blame him because he can only do so much. Occasionally he does if you're a goaltender, tend the goal situations, but it's he kind of has to do that because the team in front of him isn't that great. But it's just when I said it was suck against the Jackets the last time. Yeah, we kind of were on the bad end of the suck versus suck this time, so it kind of evens itself out.
It does.
They both just suck.
The part about it, if you're going to talk about the whole, if you're a goaltender, tend the goal thing, I'm fairly certain that Steve Dangle wrote that in reference to Peter Mrazek.
Also Mike Smith, also Jacob Markstrom.
I feel like that is directly aimed at Peter Mrazek because that man leaves the blue paint so much that even my mom, who doesn't watch a lot of hockey, was telling him to stay in the blue paint when we watched the game the other day.
Honestly, I think if you go back and look at Steve Dangle's LFRs and all of his dang it's and all that, I think that did start around Mrazek's time because of the fact that I think he's allergic to the blue paint. He does not want to be there. He feels confined to that box.
It would not surprise me. I know we did get away with one the other night when Mrazek was in net because he went into the trapezoid to play the puck. And the puck kind of skidded past his stick outside of the trapezoid. And he brought it back into the trapezoid, which technically should have been a penalty. But nobody in stripes saw it. I know everyone is probably very surprised that the refs missed something. But it's tend the goal, Peter Mrazek. There was a goal. I think this was he played the Canes game, right? Yes, because they were talking about how it was his return to Carolina. One of the Canes goals.
What a return. What a return.
He was 2 feet in front of the blue paint. And it wasn't somebody was coming in on a breakaway. The play was actively in the Hawks defensive zone. And Mrazek was 2 feet outside of the blue paint. And poor Connor Murphy was just trying to do Connor Murphy things.
I think was that a Jesper Foss goal, or who was that scored for the Canes on that one? I forget what it was, but yeah, I know what goal you're talking about. That was
even
brutal.
my mom was like, "What is he doing?" And I'm like,
"Not playing goalie."
I wish I had the answer. He needs to tend the goal, because like he was just so far in front of the blue paint.
What are you doing? Yeah, it's like, what are you doing,
sir? What are you doing? Tend the goal. Like, we need to Goldberg Peter Mrazek to the net. Like,
this is where we need like a Julia the Cat, where she just comes out of nowhere and it's like, I'm just gonna play goalie now, and it's like, oh, okay.
Yeah. Scott Foster, are you available?
Maybe we can get David Ayers.
Dude, I mean, could we possibly like coax Scott Darling out of retirement? Like, he's doing the broadcast now. He's in the city. He lives in Chicago. Like, come on, Scotty D, come on. I
think he sells some gas in the tank. Why don't we just bring Scott Darling back? I know the number's available. Why don't we just bring him back? Let him play some goalie, and why not? I mean, like we can get him on a nice like 2-year
entry level contract.
2-year like $1 million per. Why not? Why just give him a nice little $2 million contract and be like, hey, play goalie for us?
Why not?
What else we got to lose? Just
at this point, not very much.
Technically the Hawks are dead last in the league, which I know we'll get to in a little bit. But we got nothing else left to lose other than our sanity. But I think that's already been gone too. So
yeah, that's pretty far gone. So
what's that like? I don't know.
I don't remember. We do have some games coming up this week. I know we talked about the Blackhawks episode being a little bit later in the week, so we're probably going to release those on I think we said Thursdays. That feels about right. Is Thursday right? Thursday? Zach, Thursday?
Something like that. I know this week is going to be a little bit different because the fact this is our first episode on the new networks. I know we're dropping this tomorrow, which would be today. But I think generally it's going to be I
think we decided Thursdays and Sundays.
To record. I don't know if we... it's right, because if we record it Thursday night, it would drop the same night. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then Sundays will be our PHF recaps and our Woe Hockey.
Yeah, so this week is just a little different. You're going to get a double dip of the Hawks in the same week just because
also, the PHF is on holiday break still, so we'll just do another quick Hawks episode, probably to talk about more sadness on Thursday. So I'm just going to go through the schedule up until Thursday. We did 2 games coming up tonight, the first, or yesterday, since you're listening to this tomorrow. The Hawks are playing the Sharks at home at the United Center. It is a 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Central start. And then,
honestly, it's another suck versus suck because they're both bottom 4 in the league. But
yeah, well, and if I remember correctly, Alex Stalock came from the Sharks, so I hope that means Alex is in net tonight so that he can see all his friends.
That would be nice. After you're done with the schedule, we'll go through the records real quick of the Sharks and the Hawks and whoever else we're playing this week.
Oh, then Tuesday we get to play the Bolts at home. And it's going to be an 8:30 Eastern, 7:30 Central start time. And so that'll be super fun.
So are those the 2 games before Thursday?
Those are the 2 games before Thursday. We have the Sharks.
All right. Well, I'll do the Sharks first just because they 38 games. They're 11, 20, and 7, 29 points, 29th in the league. How fitting. Oh, look at that. Minus 29 in goal differential. So there's some, 29th place, 29 points, negative 29 in goals. So
we're in 32nd place and our goal differential is negative 55.
I just thought it was funny. There's a lot of 29s there. So in terms of how it works out in the hockey gods world, the Sharks are going to win that game just because of course. Just
because of the symmetry.
Too much symmetry and it just works out. The Bolts, 35 games played. They have a bunch of games in hand on a bunch of teams in the league. They sit 8th in the league, 23, 11, and 1. 47 points plus 24 goal differential.
That'll be the game that we win.
Yeah. I do have to say that. How about the LA Kings though? They're the only minus team in the top 18 in the league. They have a -6, but they're 7th overall in the entire league.
Oh my gosh.
40 games. 40 games. They're 21-13-6.
That's nuts.
But the fact that Tampa's got 5 games in hand on the Kings, though, my word, the scheduling is brutal.
Part of that's because one of their games was postponed.
That's right.
And I think they had a second game postponed. I can't remember because they were playing some northern teams.
I just can't believe the Kings have played. I think they're the only team in the top half. I think they're the only team that's played 40 games. Yeah.
Perfect.
Wow.
So
then the Blackhawks. I'm sorry, we have to 35 games played. Do
we have to?
Unfortunately, if you're watching the YouTube version, you can see the record over Beth's left shoulder. Right, if you're watching it because of the flip. 8-23-4, 20 points, minus 55 goal differential. We are 4 points behind the Anaheim Ducks, who are
the Columbus Blue Jackets.
Yes, Anaheim is 10-23-4 with 24 points and a minus 67 goal differential, and the Jackets are 11-22-2. With 24 points and a minus 44 goal differential. The Ducks have gotten scored on more than us, but somehow still have carried 2 more extra wins. But the Hawks do have 2 games in hand. So that's actually gonna mean anything, but
yeah.
Also the Jackets also do have 2 games in hand on the Ducks as well. So I mean,
yeah. Well, I'm telling you right now, the Bolts game is the game that we're going to win because they have such a better record than us that's going to be the game that we win.
It's that trap game. Oh, it's the Hawks, no big deal. And then we just go and beat them, and you're just like, cool.
And Tyler Johnson is like, wah! And scores like 17 goals.
Right.
Just that night, he scores 17 goals.
He goes on. He's like Tates Thompson on steroids. Just like I said, 17 tucks, 3 assists, just because, and it's just like.
Murder them. It'll be like a football score. It'll be like 21-3.
Yeah, he's got 17 of the 20 something. Yeah,
and Boris Kachuk has all of the other goals.
That would seem very fitting, but it's just for the fact of the Hawks where they're. I mean, like I said, I know they have games in hand on the Ducks, but still, though, it's just like it's such a brutal record to look at, and the fact that they were playing so good, and then the last 20-something games, it's just been.
That is my professional analysis of the last 20 Blackhawks games. With 2 happy moments.
Would you even say there was even a glimpse of competitive hockey out of these guys for a lot of those games outside of the 2 wins? Because I mean, there was a couple games where they were kind of close.
There have been a couple games where it's
they have
maybe
a pulse.
The first and second period, or even just the first period is garbage, and then it's probably Richardson and Jack Johnson and Kane are wake up in the locker room in the intermission. Then all of a sudden they're like, oh yeah, we get paid to play hockey. And then they go play hockey. So there's I think out of all those games, I think we've seen 5 competitive games over the last 20 something. So like that.
Yeah, I don't know. It's not been fun.
Yeah, no, it really hasn't. So we will go over, all of the joy of the next 2 Blackhawks games on our next hockey episode of Let's Talk Whoa Hockey. But we do want to just take a quick moment. I know we usually do our player of the episode and we just very briefly talk about them. But today is episode number 35. And for every Hawks fan, we all know that number 35 is none other than the late, great Tony Esposito. So we wanted to take just a few minutes to really just bring to light some of this man's accomplishments, because he has several records that still stand today in the NHL or for the Blackhawks and have yet to be broken, including a 15 shutout season in 1969-70. Tony Esposito had 15 shutouts in one season. One of them.
Jeez.
And I mean, the man was a shutout machine. Tony Esposito holds the Blackhawks record. I don't know if it's a league record. It might be. He holds the all-time Blackhawks record for shutouts with 74. 74 shutouts. Like,
yeah,
that number is insane.
You would think it has to be the record though, because I mean, who else would possibly even have that many shutouts? You know,
I'm trying to pull it up right now to see who could possibly have more than 74 shutouts. Martin Brodeur had 125.
Oh, well, I mean, there you go.
Terry Sawchuk had 103. George Hainsworth had 94. Glenn Hall through his career had 84. Jacques Plante 82. Alec Cannell 81, tied with Tiny Thompson and Dominic Hasek. Roberto Luongo had 77, and in league total, Tony Esposito had 76. So he did get 2 other shutouts with Montreal.
Yeah.
But still, 74 shutouts with one team, not too shabby.
Yeah. Sawchuk might have that record then as well, because I know back then there was not such thing as like free agency. Mm-hmm. So I think he's probably got the record for the most shutouts with one team, probably.
Yeah. So
Martin Berger with 120 something.
That guy.
I mean, you know, when you have like the defense that he had back in the day too, when Scott Stevens would absolutely just murder you.
Yeah. And then, I mean, to give you an idea, Tony Esposito still holds the Hawks record for wins by a goaltender with 418. The next closest is Glenn Hall with 276, followed by the amazingly wonderful Corey Crawford with 260. He holds the Hawks record for most minutes played with 51,734.
Jeez.
Like, that's insane.
Insane, I tell you.
51,000 minutes. To put it into perspective, Corey Crawford played 28,000 minutes with the Blackhawks, and he's at number 3 on the list. Like,
like almost double.
Yeah, that is just absolutely insane. There is a reason why his number is in the rafters, why he was a Blackhawks ambassador, why we absolutely loved him. He was a 3-time first-team All-Star, 2-time second-team All-Star. He appeared in 6 All-Star games, had 7 consecutive seasons where he won at least 30 games.
And that's why he's like top 100 player of all time.
I believe the most recent one had him somewhere in the 60s or the 70s for top 100. I can't remember the exact number. But he also has an all-time regular season record of 423 to 306 to 151 with a goals against average of 2.92, which in the era that he played in, like, that was a pretty outstanding goals against average. So
I was wondering who's making all that noise. It's Gary.
It would be this guy, like.
All I hear is meow, meow. I'm like, what in the world? It's Gary.
It's Gary, just doing Gary things. He wanted to, make his presence known on the new network. He had to come, say hello to all of you beautiful people.
You're also talking about Tony O too. So, Tony. Yeah, Gary's a big goalie cat. He's a goalie cat.
He is. He's just like his mom. He's a goalie person / cat. So, I mean, we really wanted to take goalie cat.
Put down on a t-shirt.
Are you going to give Maggie the goalie a run for her money, Gary? We need to teach you how to stop pucks.
Honestly, though, think of like a cat in like goalie gear and put on a t-shirt. Goalie cat.
Goalie cat. So we just wanted to take a couple moments to just really, truly appreciate the absolute greatness that Tony Esposito was in his very long tenure with the Blackhawks. Obviously, 418 wins, 51,000 minutes. That man played a lot of hockey in Chicago.
Yeah,
he was also just a phenomenal human being.
Yeah.
And it definitely hit the Hawks community really hard when we lost him last year. So this being the 35th episode, our first episode on our own network, we did truly want to take a few moments to just really absolutely appreciate one of the greatest to ever wear a Hawk sweater in Tony Esposito. So
for sure. Because I think after this one, there's not really like I don't know. I know 50 is probably the next slam dunk number for us, but other than that, I don't really know any other slam dunk numbers in terms of players outside of 50. Well, and 81 for Marian Hossa, of course. So I mean, and Patrick Kane at 88.
How can you not give some love to number 36, Dave Boland?
You know what? That's fair. That is fair. You gotta get. Throwing the gloves off and everything. 17 seconds. Yeah, no. You that
goal still gives me like the hairs are standing up on my arm. I still get goosebumps thinking about.
Yeah. So 36 in Boland, 81 in Hossa, 88 in Kaner. And obviously 50 in Crawford. So I mean, we got like 4 more slam dunk numbers at least.
After that, it might be like a throw a bunch of numbers in a hat and figure out for some of them.
Yeah, there's gonna be some where you're like, I don't remember this guy even playing with the Hawks. Like if we're talking like that. I mean,
well, that's like when we were talking about Bruce Cassidy. Everybody's like, oh, he's the Bruins coach. No, his entire NHL career he played for the Chicago Blackhawks.
You know what? I'm curious if we like get to like episode 98 and it's like, all right, 98, Connor Bedard.
I mean,
episode 98 of the podcast.
Let's see what happens because right now Hawks jersey numbers only go up to 95.
Dylan Sakara was 95.
Correct. But we have not had anybody wear 96, 97, or 98.
Wow. Actually that kind of makes sense because I mean.
And I mean, we are kind of getting to the point, like once we hit like the 60s, there's like one player who's worn a number. So,
and that's where it's like, all right, I guess that's where
this is going to be the Dennis Rasmussen episode of Let's Talk About Hockey. Like,
yeah, like I guess is the guy we have to pick because there's really no one else.
There's no other choice. So, I mean, we will see, but we are getting to the point where it is time to let you guys go and enjoy the rest of your Monday, which I hope most of you have today off when you're listening to this episode because it is the observed New Year's Day. Zach shaking his head no. I have
not for this guy. Well, I don't have a cool job like you do where I can't observe holidays. Our only day off is Christmas Day.
Woof.
So,
yeah. So, Zachary, where could the humans find you on the internet?
I mean, if you want to use your time to follow me on the socials, you do you. You can follow me at One Sure Zach. That's O-N-E Sure Zach. It's not the number one. It's actually spelled out like the Oneaters. If you want to follow me on Instagram for any more personal random stuff that I shared in my stories, which it's a good plethora of D&D and hockey and bunch of fun stuff. Zach R. Martin 22. You can follow me over there. If you actually want to follow my writings, I'm actually the Charlotte Checkers beat writer for Field Pass Hockey. So go follow me at FPH Checkers if you want to read some of my written work. So yeah, Beth, where can people find you on the socials?
So on the Twitter, you can find me at Wonder Beffers. That's also my TikTok name, but I don't TikTok. I just am there to doom scroll when I need to doom scroll. And then
sounds about right. So like I wonder what happened to the Oneaters. Is that the wonder we're going with?
That's the wonder that we're going with.
Okay.
If you follow me on TikTok, I'll follow you back. But really, I'm just there for doom scrolling. I won't lie. that's the only reason I'm there. Is
I am not on TikTok because if I know about the minute I do that, it's just gonna be. Yeah.
So
I got enough time split everywhere else.
I was smart with TikTok. When I downloaded it to my phone, I did not have it put the icon on my home screen. So I have to like swipe over to that like all app screen and then like dig and find it or like go to the search bar and find it. So it's not easily accessible. So I try to prevent the doom scrolling, but I'm getting off topic. On Instagram, you can follow me at Good Better Beffers. And of course, make sure you're giving the pod a follow on Instagram and Twitter at Talk Whoa Hockey Pod. And of course, we hope you're subscribed on YouTube. at Let's Talk Whoa Hockey. This has been a super fun episode, our first episode on our own brand new network. We are very excited that you guys have joined us here. Please make sure to leave some comments below, or even like a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen to your podcast would be pretty awesome too.
We might read it on the podcast if you do.
We might. If you leave a comment, like, we might actually read it. So this has been the 35th episode of Let's Talk Whoa Hockey. I'm really super excited for this next part because, guys, we have a new outro. I finished it today, and it's really kind of cool looking, and I really, really love it. So that's been my dude, Zach. I have been Beth. This is the 35th episode of Let's Talk Whoa Hockey, and we will catch you on Thursday for our hockey episode of Let's Talk Whoa Hockey. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Thank you for watching this 5 in a Game Sports Network podcast. Now avoid the sussy and go enjoy your game misconduct. See you next time.